Hey, what's up? It's Mr. Dean, and are you tired of Mario Party going from a friendship-ruining cage match to, well, Mario Party Superstars? Maybe you like Mario Party, but you just think it'd be a bit better with some gore and death. Pummel Party. Yeah, so my friend found this game called Pummel Party on Steam, which at first glance may just look like a rip-off Mario Party. And it basically is, but dare I say it may be better. It follows the same kind of formula. Pick a board, take turns rolling a 10-numbered dice, land on a spot that causes something to happen, play a mini game after everyone goes, and rinse and repeat. Why am I even talking about this game if it so closely follows Mario Party? Well... Hey, say hi to my bunny! Say hi to the bunny, Mason!
Oh, what is this?
Oh, what is this?
You can get damaged if you go right. Yeah, both of them.
See, Pummel Party just feels like a unique experience, in a way being like if Mario Party was rated M or something. Alright, so how exactly does this game work? Basically the goal is to collect goblets, being this game's equivalent of stars in Mario Party, and you buy goblets by collecting keys, being the equivalent of coins. Some spaces on any board will give you some keys and others will cause you to lose keys, often in brutal fashion. This may make me sound like a lunatic, but it always is so funny seeing your friends get demolished throughout the game. You always can obtain keys through each minigame. The better you do, the more keys you get. You also get items in minigames too, and let's just say the items are the big X factor of this game. Not only is there a pretty beefy selection of items in the game, but they all feel useful too, and a lot of them incorporate pretty unique and creative ideas as well. First you got the boxing glove. This is an instant kill for anyone within a short radius. By the way, dying in this game just amounts to respawning with less keys, normally in a really inconvenient spot as well. Of course, in addition to unparalleled embarrassment. Of course, if melee attacks is in your style, you can use the f***ing shotgun. This is insane. This works about as expected. It's harder to aim, but can deal damage at a greater distance with the amount of damage decreasing the further you are away from your target. Health Kit lets you restore health, which is f***ing boring, so no one cares. The Beehive lets you deal 10 damage over a short range distance, also allowing for splash damage to hurt multiple other people. With the Magnet, you can steal items from other players, either keys or items. Of course, you have a fucking exploding eggplant, because why the fuck not at this point? You control this almost like a rolling homing missile, and it does good damage, with the rolling motion being just way too funny. The swap portal lets you swap positions with another player, the downside of this being that you lose your turn. This can either be used for your own benefit, or if you are me, just completely f***ing someone else over. But what if you want to summon a wrecking ball out of nowhere? Well, you can also do this with the Wrecking Ball. This can be used anywhere on the board, so if you got that special someone that you just really want to see suffer that's 30 spaces away, then here you have it. The Rocket Skewer boosts you ahead 10 spaces while also dealing 15 damage to any unfortunate soul foolish enough to be in your way, while also giving you another dice roll afterward. The Tactical Cactus Disguise is the Party Pooper power-up. Make it so no one else can hurt you for a round. Wow, you just hate fun, don't you? The Present is a luck-based one. Either you get unlucky and you are stuck in your position for a round, or you teleport right up to a goblet location, or the really unfortunate possibility of getting to choose the next minigame. I have never seen someone get this option and been like, yeah, I get to choose the next minigame we play. The Dark Summoning Staff summons a killer rabbit that slowly moves up spaces every round and instant kills anyone it runs into. This is my favorite item, by the way, specifically because I always end up being the one that gets it. The Giga Laser just f***ing atomizes any player on the board. Holy why would you want any other item? The Nuclear Waste Barrel is annoying, so you lose damage for a few turns and you can't use any items. Nothing feels as defeating as this happening to you. And finally, the Arcade Challenge lets you duel another player to an arcade game with the winner getting a goblet. Overall, this is unironically a very strong item selection and one that I prefer to pretty much any Mario Party game I have played. Perhaps even more impressive than the item selection is the minigame selection, which is actually so fun. Basically every minigame I had the honor of playing was just simply fun, especially since it was hard enough to actually create close matches most of the time. What's even crazier is that some of these are literally just even better versions of Mario Party minigames. I don't want to sound like I don't like Mario Party, by the way. I'm just keeping it completely real with you right now. I plan on making a whole video ranking all the minigames in Pummel Party, but for now I will talk about a few of the ones that stuck out to me while recording. Snowy Spin was kind of a better version of Bumper Balls from the N64 Mario Party. I Will Die on This Hill, I Do Not Care. Instead of every round ending in a draw, every round ends in absolute hilarity. Sorcerer's Sprint was pretty neat. It is kind of like being in Hogwarts, except way way bloodier. As a Mario Kart fanatic, of course I have to love miniature motors racing through a house at high speeds, and it is actually very easy to mess up here. The layout really comes at you out of nowhere, which in the context of a Mario Kart track would annoy me, but for the ruthless party minigame it works great. Also, what's cool is through the Steam Workshop you can get modded minigames, which from first glance looks like a hell of a time. Most likely I'll make another video in the future looking at some of these mods, as I do want to do that for a lot of games. As far as unlockables, you can buy cosmetics such as capes with crowns, presumably you getting through winning matches or doing well. Finally, we need to talk about the selection of boards in this game, each with their own set of gimmicks and cool features. There are 6 maps or boards in this game, whatever name you want to use for them, with one of them being for 2 to 4 players and the other 5 being for 4 to 8 players. I will say from the games that I have played, the more people there are, the more fun and chaotic it gets. Obviously, it also correlates to a considerably longer runtime as well. As for the minigames, well, a lot of the time it feels a little bit too zany with anything above 5 players. Not that it doesn't work, but there's just so much happening that it gets kind of insane. But yeah, if you're playing with between 2 to 4 players, Rusty Ruins is a pretty solid option. This is kind of a post-apocalyptic type of board, and the vibe of this just works so well with such a gruesome party game. For a small board built for less players, this one works great. The map gives you a choice in the middle, which is cool and allows for a lot of strategy as for whether you want to go directly for the goblet or retreat and either wait for its next location or fish for items. The Rift had a pretty cool gimmick of occasionally changing up the direction players go, which can completely change the tide of the game. I love these kind of features in party games, since the game being unreasonable and unfair oftentimes ended up with me having more fun and, well, I guess getting more angry too. Pummel Town is absolutely mortifying. There is a killer that slowly moves around the map and will instantly kill any player that it reaches. Yeah, you can damage it, but it isn't really efficient to do that. If you have above 6 people, this is definitely the go-to map in my opinion. This is just bound to produce bull. What is cool here too is that you collect souls instead of crowns, which actually, maybe that's a bit morbid once I think about it. Also, you can get run over by a bus too. Yeah, there's just a lot of death going on this map. Pummel Prison is based around the concept of breaking out of a prison with the functions of a party board. This gimmick is novel, but I honestly forgot this was the concept while playing it. It just kind of felt like your typical party board pretty quickly. There were these teleportation spaces which led to players being grouped together very often, normally leading to their untimely deaths, which was absolutely hilarious. Rival I was not a big fan of. Not only is purple being basically the only color not that appealing to me, but there is this whole thing where everyone will need to roll higher than a 4 in order to return back to the map. If you fail to do this, then you just get kind of stuck up there. Not only is this annoying because it just felt like it kind of ruins the pacing of the game, like the vibe of the call I was in recording this was just kind of killed during these sections, but also this weird glitch effect happens whenever someone does successfully make it back to the map, which is just so annoying. Pirate Paradise is pretty cool as well. Occasionally the water will rise up and inflict damage upon players in the middle section of the board. There is also a little cannon projectile launcher thing that can launch you across the map, which is pretty nifty. Winter Glow, as the name suggests, is the Arctic-y wintry board, and aside from this maze section, I didn't notice too much different about this one. The maze will sometimes have a chest in it, which can get kinda goofy when one of the spaces can rearrange where the walls are laid out. Finally, we also have Overgrowth, which is supposed to be the jungly board. Basically, this is your classic which chest is the real one gimmick, which is really fun in this setting. All 3 will be spread throughout the map, and you need to remember which shape corresponded to each chest. Definitely a board that with a good amount of people, insanity will quickly ensue as everyone inevitably gaslights each other into thinking the wrong chest is the right one. One thing that's really funny about the boards, especially the smaller ones, is that by the end of a long round, there's just so much blood everywhere, it is ridiculous. It begins to look like a war zone so quickly. And well, that's Pummel Party. While it is similar to the overall format of Mario Party, it kind of has its own separate charm than what Nintendo's family-friendly board game has. Also, similarly to Mario Party, there are bonus goblets at the end of each game that award a goblet to players who, say, deal the most damage or win the most minigames. Also, there's a minigame only mode, which if that's your thing, then well, it's there. Only complaint I have about this is that there isn't really a way to choose which minigame you want to play specifically, at least from what I can tell. So if there's one game that you want to play then you just have to kind of roll the dice and hope that you get it. One thing I also want to point out is that the music from Pummel Party, particularly the soundtracks to the boards, did a pretty solid job of setting the vibe. You may have noticed that I'm using Mario Party music throughout this video, but that's just because I think a lot of the Pummel Party songs aren't really YouTube background music kind of tracks, but they worked well for the game. Mario Party, for obvious reasons, feels way more cutesy and lighthearted, and I do not mean that in a bad way at all. At least the modern ones gives me that impression. Chance Time on the N64 was anything but fucking lighthearted. Pummel Party, on the other hand, is just kind of crazy, but that is what makes it such a fun game to play, especially live with other people. Yeah, you can play with AI, but even on hard mode, they really aren't that great at all, especially at the minigames. Plus, just like Mario Party, it is, well, a party game. The whole fun that this type of game brings is brought about by playing with other people, so the AI mode is a good inclusion, but by no means is imperative to the overall experience. Well, after playing the game, I can safely say that Pummel Party was nothing but a fun, carefree, relaxing, and positive experience. Jeff, you are allergic to fun! Uninstall the game! Bro, Jeff's laughing like this is funny. Well, most of it was.